Good evening and welcome to the Indie Voice Show, where artists can listen, learn, and grow with knowledge empowering success. And now, here is your host, singer, songwriter, entrepreneur, Miss Wendys Hicks.
Welcome world.
What's up, y'all?
How are you? Merry Christmas. We're about to go into a brand new year. I'm excited. You know, we've got so much to do in this year coming, right, Kevin?
That's right.
So, hello, shout out to our Facebook Live family that has joined us. I promised you guys in a previous Facebook Live post that I have a very special announcement to make, and I've been wanting to make this announcement for some time, but my partner here told me to just hold off. He said, hold off, make them wait. So the announcement is that I have a new permanent co-host, and it is live and in color, Mr. Kevin Kojo Prince.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? It's me.
Yes.
I'm here.
Yes. I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited you are.
Yes. And so, like, in the new year, we're going to do things a little different. We'll still keep some of the existing segments, but we're also going to bring in some new segments that'll be a little more interactive. You know, Kevin and I have been talking, and he has some great ideas for, you know, what we can do to get people more involved with the show. Yeah. We want to provide you with more information and shared knowledge with guests that are living in their musical dream and doing very well. Kevin offers another perspective to the show and to the interviews. He's a well-respected musician, part of or co-founder of Spur of the Moment, right? Yes, co-founder of Spur of the Moment, and works with countless artists in the business. He can share a lot of his behind-the-scenes knowledge of what it takes to make it in this business, and it's much more than the glitz and glamour that we see as the finished product. So you get a lot of information and insight, which I'm really excited about sharing. He's also making his mark locally with independent artists, and we'll talk about his plans shortly. Collaboratively, we have some things in the making starting in this spring, and I guess we'll be able to share that. Should we share that now?
Yeah,
share a little bit.
Share it now? Right now? They want to hear it right now?
Should we make them wait, or should we
make them wait for a little while?
Okay.
Let's get through the show a little bit. But I'm going to tell you that. I'm not good with writing stuff down, but she is really good, y'all. I'm telling you. She got all this organized. I mean, really.
I need guidance.
Yeah, I need to do that.
And I need to make sure I don't forget anything.
Man, I'm telling you, that's some good stuff.
Because, see, I get so caught up, that I need to make sure I have a frame of reference. A lot of times, especially with the interviews, it's a go with the flow kind of thing. Right. But there are some questions that I really want to ask and make sure that I get in before the show ends.
And that's good. And I'm not used to being in front of an audience of how many? 1 million, maybe 2 million?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to. I have to get used to this.
Right.
So give me some time to really get myself together so I can get comfortable with doing this kind of thing. This is my first time doing this.
I know, but this is exciting though, because
exciting.
See, I'm all like.
I know, and
I'm all loud.
You need to stay that way. You need to stay that way. That's fine. That's fine with me.
You're more subdued.
Yeah, I am. I guess yin to yang, right?
Yes. I think it's going to be great. I think this is a great partnership, and again, I really like what you are doing and the plans that you have in terms of, helping our local artists, our independent artists with their careers. And before we really get more into that, I'd like to share a couple of videos of some of the artists that you're working with. These are only a couple because we only have, less than an hour, and plus we have other things that we want to share. But we have 2 videos that we're going to show. One is a video from Tolumide. Did I pronounce it right?
Tolumide.
Yeah. And her video is In Your Arms. And then we have my girl Karen Lynette, her video, Another Star. So we'll look at those 2 videos and then we'll come right back.
My sweetie, my love. You're standing here in front of me. Whoa, whoa, you're my everything. You're my everything.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get her back.
There was a time I didn't think that I could ever be loved so much by someone like you.
And then there it is. Thank you. And then like they would have a full concert, and it was in like this auditorium. It was really cool the way he did
What's
it.
going on?
Hey, Karen, how are you?
I'm all right.
The engineer's running a little late today.
You see the script, Kevin, when we come back.
I have everything set up over here already. So when he gets here, I fill in everything he needs to do.
Previous interviews.
We good.
Yes, but I already put on the email that I sent where I want them to start the video. So just like some takeaways from these, but there are so many more that I think I might want to start the next show off with some others. I don't know yet. We'll just see if we can get a guest in here for next Saturday. We'll see, but. It's really Okay, so wait, now that's a little too much. 40th anniversary for Sugar Hill.
For you, love might be for you to find.
Okay, you'll remember. And what's the
I will
address?
celebrate our love yesterday.
Delaware. Delaware.
Oh, really?
Not church no more.
Love might be for you to find. Love might bring a toast of wine.
Hey, Gina B, thank you for sharing the video.
Hey, baby, how you doing, baby?
Through my eyes, the light of you is all I see. But in my heart, your melody will stay with me.
Back, let's talk about your Hello. Can I? So, and when will we? Well, never mind. When will we start recording from this? Don't forget to come back with some background music. Thank you. Thank you,
Come back.
Actually, yeah. Yes, and we're back. I love it. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. So now for the last video with Karen Lynette, you actually did that yourself.
Yes. I had a vision of putting together a music video for, of course, the Stevie Wonder song, Another Star. It was Karen Lynette that really, when she performed the song when she performed the song in the studio, it just came alive, you know. We started the process of basically in my basement, going over the song. I had my cajon and we had Delcoon, Oki, play guitar, and we decided to, you know, it just felt good. It just flowed together, came together, and Karen just made it good.
And Karen, she's just an amazing artist anyway.
Absolutely.
She's just a walking repository of music, right?
Absolutely. She's a wealth of knowledge of not only up to date, you know, new school, but old school too.
Right.
She knows it well. So I told her she needed to go ahead and just be some type of historian or something to talk about, you know, have her own show, just talk about, you know. But it was put together, and like I said, it was more of a vibe. You know, it just felt good. We just came together. It wasn't a, you know, oh, we got this. It was put together, and we decided to just vibe on it, and it just came together well, you know.
Nice. So, in line with that, what is your contribution, or what is it that you want to see happen with the artists that you're working with?
Well, you know, I'm an independent artist myself, and I know the struggle of trying to get radio play and trying to get a gig, and, you know, just having folk listen to you, and not just your own family, but it's lovely to have your family support you.
Right.
But when you go outside of that, that's when you can make a difference, because you got what most radio people say, legitimate fans, because those people don't know you, they'll support you. So my goal is to try to get those folk to listen and support. Now, your family is very important to you. You definitely need your family to help you get to that point. But just getting those fans, those people that don't know your music, and just understanding that it's a struggle for us. You know, we really have to have your support.
Right.
We need everything. We don't just need to say, okay, because you know how you get on, you go online and you put your information on Facebook, you put your song on Facebook and get people to like it, but nobody wants to share it.
Right.
You know,
right.
For some reason they'll share other artists, you know, known artists, but they won't share yours. I don't know if it's a thing of they just because they know you, it's like, oh, that's nice. But I really want the independent artists to get a little more recognition, you know. And I understand how people are. You know, they're not really going to, you know, support you unless you are well known or, you know how it is. So I just want to be able to be a main support. I mean, and everywhere I can, if I have an avenue for them to get them to the next level, and I will.
But you've been very hands-on in terms of, like, you've been a connector with connecting some of the artists with the songwriters, the producers.
Right. Well, yeah, I think that's important. Also, production, getting with the right songwriters and producers, because your music, I mean, you got some that are musicians and some that are not producers, but then everybody has ideas, everybody has a way of expressing yourself. I just think that when you do your music, when you do your creating as an artist or a writer, you should be able to express yourself the way you want.
Right.
And I think it's important. I just think that's important.
It is. And so I think that, especially seeing some of the work that you've been doing with the local artists, this is a great marriage as far as, you know, connecting our resources and helping the generation of artists that we have here in DC, the next generation of artists that I'm interested in supporting. So I think that it would be great to, like, cross collab with, you know, what you're doing with what I'm doing, and then again providing information to you guys, making sure that you all tune in. And, you know, if you have questions, by the way, the number is on your screen. If you want to call in with a question or just say welcome to Kevin Kojo Prince, then feel free to call in and say hello. But yeah, I think this is great timing. You know, we're about to launch a new year, and there are lots there's lots that we both have in store. And we're going to talk a little bit about that a little later in the show. What I thought would be pretty cool was to, okay, thank you. So what I thought would be pretty cool is to go back, like a year in review. Actually, Kevin helped me with this idea, his brainchild. So it's great to go back and just kind of look at some of the advice that previous guests have shared with us. Now, I've done many interviews over the year, so I didn't have time to really sit down and show you all of the interviews. So I just took a few random interviews and took out some snippets that I wanted to share with you. And maybe possibly we'll start the next year's show off with some more interviews, because these artists are sharing great information. So the first clip that we're going to show, it was a guest that was on the show back in November, Eddie Michaels. He's a new artist on the scene, moved here from Atlanta. And one of the things that has been a challenge that folks have come and talked to me about was, how do you build your fan base, or how do you get connected when you come from another state? You know, you're new to the area and you want to know how to get in. So I thought this was really interesting. So he talks about how he built his fan base, and we'll also talk a little bit about the power of attending events where you can network. So let's just check this quick clip out.
Really sings like that. So I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. And before I knew it, you know, got on the karaoke, sung a song, and people was like, who is this from? Like, who is this guy? Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, you're not from here. We could tell you're not from here. And so when I tell them I'm from Atlanta, they're like, from Atlanta? What are you doing here on this side of town? Like, it's a long story, so just let me be, you know, just let me be here. But other than that, I started doing karaoke more often. I got close to the DJs. then after that, you know, that's how my fans started growing. And then I met up with a few friends who also were doing music. So I was like, okay, you guys have a studio, and that's how everything just kind of branched off and all that stuff. So. Yeah.
See, it's something. See, people, you know, sleeping on karaoke.
Yeah,
people
don't sleep on karaoke.
But the karaoke here is not like your, you know, drunk in the bar, sing anything, slurring. I don't know the song.
Yeah.
It's like a full-blown concert. We got
is.
serious people that are doing karaoke here in this
That's
area.
true.
I can't speak outside of this area. But it's like a live, like, showcase.
Yeah. It is.
So it's important, and you know, one of the things, and I go back, like I like to use your story as an example, because it's about like showing up, like and networking with people. And when you, even though you know quite a few of the people that do karaoke just strictly for recreation, which is fine, there are people that use it as like a way to kind of get in.
That's true.
And see, and you're a prime example of how that happened.
Yeah.
So like I said, don't sleep on karaoke. I know quite a few people that are doing very well that was on that karaoke scene. And if nothing else, it's good to continue to be whatever way that keeps you connected to the music. You know, do what you need to do.
I agree.
So that's cool.
Yeah, and you never know who's at karaoke's
You
either.
don't.
So, just something that you gotta do, especially if you're like passionate about it. Just do it because you know you love music, not because you're trying to get a shot. And then my question is, okay, so if that's your only goal, what if you don't make it? Then what you gonna say? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit, or I never really like this. You know, so it has to be something that you're very passionate about. Because then, even if you're at a show and there's only one person in the audience.
So, you know, I thought that was very interesting what he said, because again, there have been lots of people that have, you know, wondered, well, what do I do? How do I get connected? And several times, those viewers that watch the show regularly, there are quite a few consistent themes. And one of them, and I laugh every time I hear it, because you'll also see it in the clip from Pink Polish. People, you know, frown on this whole karaoke thing, but it's important, you know, because people look at karaoke as just, you know, where people just hang out, really not paying attention. You're just singing for the fun of it. And it is for the fun of it. But it just so happens that in this area, there are so many talented people. And they're doing a lot of things. They're performing with other bands. They're recording. They're doing backs for other artists that come in. So I thought that it was interesting that Eddie said that, because it's true. You know, you have to be in the area where like-minded people are.
Yeah, absolutely. You also have to be, I mean, that whole karaoke thing is a great networking tool to be able to perform in front of, you know, so many different people. You don't know who's in the audience.
Right.
And I've heard stories about getting, you know, people coming to the area and starting to perform, and next thing you know, they're gigging, they're doing.
That's
you know,
right.
They're connected. I mean, but you have to put your time into. You can't really do it. They want to come off the bat and charge money to perform right away in the area. You're not familiar in.
Right.
But yeah. I
thought that was pretty.
Absolutely.
It's a good way. So this next interview is that I'll share was with Eva Bittersweet. And one of the messages that she spoke of in the interview was how important it is to invest in yourself, and how, especially, we know that when you are embarking on a project, it can be expensive. Of course, you know. Studio time can be expensive. And so when you are writing your songs, or when you have an idea, or when you want to lay your reference track, it's a great idea to have your own studio. And it doesn't have to be this big grand. It's just your Mac computer. And I know you're a techie guy. So.
Well, I'm not really a techie guy, but I understand the studio. And now these days, no, you don't have to go in a big studio. You can have, I mean, the technology has afforded for us to be able to record our own. We can have, like you said, a Mac computer, you know, interface and a keyboard or some type of module or some type of controller to do everything. And now these days, you know, it's just so easy. But I still believe in the big studio.
Oh, no. Now, I'm saying in terms of your reference track.
Your reference track, yeah.
Because you want to know, like, if you listen, you don't want to go into the studio still trying to figure out, oh, how do I want to sing this way, or do I want to sing? You want to use your time in the studio as effectively and efficiently as you possibly can.
Right.
So I just think in terms of like with the reference track and being comfortable, because for someone like me, I'm still very intimidated when I get in the studio. So if you have something at home in the comforts of your home that you can kind of just do,
just kind of mess around on,
then that's I think that's great advice. And also
share a little bit.
Yes, yes. And then she also shared some of her takeaways between the lessons learned from her first project and second project. She gave some great tips. Let's check it out, and we'll come right back. Well, now, what were some of the takeaways for this project? And then we'll go back and talk about the first project. What were some of the lessons learned with this one that moving forward you'll know, like on your neck? I know it's kind of soon to be talking about the next project, but I know you're probably already thinking about it. But so like, what are some of the things that you? What were some of the takeaways with this project?
I think I'm not a very patient person. I don't know if it's the Leo or the summer child or the July. I don't know what it is, but I'm not a very patient person. Music has taught me this whole process, the first project and even more this process, this project has taught me that patience is definitely required. Not everyone moves at your pace. And so, so I think the takeaway for this project is to really plan, really plan for not just yourself, but everyone else that's involved. Plan for slip dates, plan for disappointments, plan for just plan for everything. So that way you don't build up this big thing and then you're just defeated, and then now everything is a rush. So,
that's kind of where I am now for myself, because I had set a goal for myself for like by the end of the summer. And then it's, and not only is it working with other people and, other schedules or whatever, because it's not just that, but then it's the timing of when you release it. Because now we're approaching the end of the year already. Yeah. And so you have to be careful not to release projects, too close to Christmas, because now we're looking for, Christmas music. And so it can be a little distracting, but, again, perseverance wins.
Yeah. And then there's a financial aspect that you cannot forget. My advice, I was very fortunate with the first project. I worked with a friend who, a couple of the songs, I didn't, he just let me record. And then I paid for the rest. But this project was, very expensive. And so I think my advice to anyone who wants to record a project, not just plan, but be prepared before you walk into a studio. Like, know exactly how you want it to go, and that way you're not wasting your time, your money. You're not wasting their time either. Right. And you'll get a better product. Also always have a drive with you. In the case of, that devil be working.
Like everything's gone, my car drive crashed.
Yeah, so you just want to look out for yourself, and just be smart. Be smart and have some type of rapport or relationship with the people you're working with, so they're invested in your project as well. It's good when you have that kind of, it's business, yes, but it's good to have someone care about your project as well. So.
But you're working with more than one person, right? Did you go to more than one studio, different studios and different producers, or are you pretty much stuck with the same people?
First project I worked with different studios. This one I worked with 3 studios, one being mine.
Oh, we gotta talk about that too.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that. Yes.
Yeah, I worked with Dawood, of course, in his studio in Baltimore, and then I worked with Ron Cooper, Insight Productions.
Shout
out, Ron. He is the bad bass player, and he started his own studio. And
yes, again, great interview and great tips. I mean, she learned a lot between her first and second project, especially with the time management and her budgeting.
Right.
So what were some of your takeaways of what she said?
Well, I mean, I like the idea of, understanding before you go into a project. Think about the whole aspect of the project as far as financially. Okay, when you work with a producer, of course you find out what his charge is. But the main thing for me is the producer, and the budget for the recording and the producer fee is one thing, but promoting your record is another, because you still have to, you got to promote it. You have to put it out there. You have to have the people to hear it.
Right.
And it's also a strategy. So what I learned from working with Anissa and working with Karen and working with Tyra is having a game plan.
Right.
And if you have a game plan, and you don't have to rush. You don't have to rush.
Right.
It used to be where you would have to do a full CD, and you would have to actually say you got to have 9 to 10 songs.
Right.
But these days,
right,
when they're coming with streaming and singles, and, you can stream your stuff and you can live on that for a little while.
Right.
And make a little change off of it. But it's the main thing is really taking your time and planning.
Right. Planning is key. And I was one of those from that school of, I gotta have 11 songs. And I've been working with Kurt Hoffler. Shout out to Kurt. I've been working with Kurt, and one of the things, the strategies that we've talked about is, yes, doing an EP, maybe 5 or 6 songs, and then releasing a single every so many months, just to kind of stay current. And also understand that, of course, like Eva was saying in her interview, dates change. It's okay if if you haven't met your target date. Long as you have a goal in mind, things happen. Also, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I thought it was interesting when she talked about when you go to the studio, make sure you have your own hard drive so that you can keep your music, because things happen.
Absolutely. Have your own hard drive.
Yeah, see, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah,
so
that's a great point. That's a great point. Absolutely. Yeah. You also it's okay if you don't write. Of course, there are plenty of writers out there, but it's another cost factor, but it's important that if you don't write, or if you don't write lyrics, then it's another cost in there, but you still should be able to find someone that can work with you. There are plenty of people in this city, in the DC area that will love to work, and just even some of them, not putting any folks out there, but some of them will just do it because they just love doing it.
Right.
So they're out there.
Right.
But yeah, but I'm a believer. I'm sorry, but I gotta say this. I'm a believer in paying people and getting that out the way, because you don't want to ever have anyone record you and then having to owe them later. And then, what if something happens, like your record ends up going 10 million, going platinum or something. It's just, you always want to take care of your business up front.
Right. That was a good segue, because I was just sitting here thinking, we kind of talked about this yesterday. So what do you think about the bartering concept? Are you for or against that, or it just depends on the situation?
It depends. It all depends. Who you working with? I don't know. it all depends. Everybody's different. I think it's a good thing.
It helps. It's another form of something that you can consider when you're not so much when you're building out your budget, but at least that's an option.
There's an option.
Some people talk about like the whole GoFundMe, and that's a whole nother conversation. But
I just like the whole style of just coming up with your own funds and just paying your way through.
Right.
And just getting what you can get done. If you can't afford it, that's okay. You can just build it, or you can just build your money up over time.
Right.
Like you said, it's really no time to put your record out. There are it's known to be able to put out your record before the fourth quarter, which is like around Christmas. You don't want to do that because Christmas, all the Christmas music and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But you could put your music whenever you want to. You know what I'm saying? We're in that time now.
Right.
Where you can do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Right. And that's where I am with it, you know. So
I agree. So we have another 2 more to go. Yes, we're good with time. The next interview was with Pink Polish. My girls, Pink Polish. Yes, Pam, Alicia, and Shang. And we talked about how important it is as far as building relationships and how important relationships can be in advancing your career, because it's all in who you know.
right.
A lot of it, not all, but a lot of it. And then we also kind of touched on how they overcame fears, and that's a really big topic, or overarching theme for this show as well. So let's check this out, and we'll be right back.
Down on U Street, y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was always very fearful to sing by myself. So I closed my eyes and sang a song that I knew. And when I opened my eyes, there was money at my feet.
That's nice.
And I was like, oh, maybe people kind of appreciate my voice, because I didn't, think it was good enough. But because of that, and from karaoke, people started asking me to sing at weddings and, things like that. So I just gained a little more confidence. And actually doing karaoke, we used to do it weekly, a couple times a week, actually gave me more practice and gave me more courage to sing in front of people. So that's how I kind of overcame that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say the same. Doing a lot with karaoke and private events, private parties. And, and then, of course, here I go, life coach, dealing with some personal issues and personal experiences. All of that was a combination. And having the right support system around me, friends, your relatives are a little different, because they real forgiving. Oh, yeah, you can say,
you sound good.
Yeah, and you don't. No, you don't.
Right.
But, having the right people around. And then, when you want to, when I wanted to take it to different levels, who can I rub up against, or who can I contend with, or who can I get in the same room with? So I'm very competitive. So I competed against myself a lot, but I wanted to make sure that I sharpened myself around people who I thought were going in the same direction that I wanted to go with.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. Well, me overcoming my fears, I was thrown out there. Speaking of Nathan Heathman, he saw something in me that I did not see. And by his passing, made me realize that I do have a little something to give. So I had to do a lot of praying, because I really was ready to shut down after that. But I had to do a lot of praying and asking God, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? And so that's how I overcame my fear. Just, he was like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Get out there and get it done.
Right.
Well, thank God that you had enough faith and his encouragement and enough belief in yourself to follow through and look at where you are today.
Yeah.
That was interesting, each of their perspectives, right?
Absolutely.
Again, there goes that karaoke. But also, with Alicia, and she talked about the support of her friends and family, which is always nice. But again, it could be a little misleading, because they are forgiving. But just being able to get that practice in and have that support is great. And then with Shang, it was like, just do it.
Right.
With Nathan Heathman, rest his soul. He was one of the pioneers on the music scene back in the day.
Yeah, he was.
Back in the Ibex days.
Yeah. I knew Nathan for a long time, and the first time I met Nathan, he came to hear Spur of the Moment, of course, but we went on the road together with Gene Carr, and it was I was a percussionist, of course, and we went to Detroit. And I had the best time with Nathan. We drove from Virginia Beach to Detroit.
How long was that?
I don't know, but we were in there. I mean, Nathan had me cracking up. We were talking about all kinds of stuff, and it was just a fun trip. I had a good time with him. But he was definitely one of the great ones here.
Right, and that was another. And I don't know if you caught it too with Pam with Pink Polish. It was one of those things where she trusted, and she trusted the fact that people were so open and welcoming, and of course they was like, oh, you're wonderful. She believed them, and that's important. A person can tell you all day long, oh, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, but to have that trust in what they're saying and then follow through with that, I think that was a great help for them.
Yeah,
both she and Shang. All right, we have one last one last video to share. And this one is from my dear friend from way back in the day, Milton Smith. Yes, Milton Smitty Smith. And he used to play for like Chuck for years, drums, right? And he released his project back in June or May or June. But one of the things that I've always had a question about was as far as the dynamic of the band. The band has changed so much. It's hard to get a group of people or musicians that really want to band together and support the cause or support the music to make it strong enough so that when you go out there, you're a tight unit.
Right.
A lot of times, especially in this area, of course, I don't knock people that, it's their living. You got to make your money. But where do you draw the line, especially when you're with an artist that is really trying to do some things and building a group of people that all have that same goal in mind? It just doesn't seem to exist anymore.
It doesn't.
So this was what I asked Milton and listen to his response. And maybe you can help shed some light. The mentality of bands today. It's very different.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's really hard. I hate to say hard, but it's very challenging to find a committed group of musicians that are willing to put in the work and be dedicated to your cause or to your mission. So again, I have to applaud you because I don't even know how long Stimulus was. How long were you guys together?
At least 10.
Yeah, see, but we can't find that today. So I'm really trying to understand why. Why?
I don't understand it either. I will say this. I have a nephew who plays with Usher. That's how I got to meet Usher, hang out. He plays drums with Usher. They had the most family unit I've ever seen in the last 20 years. I haven't seen this kind of unit that they have. And it's so interesting. They love and respect each other so much that when their contract or commitment with Usher in, the entire unit went over to Ariana Grande. So they took the whole unit. I have learned so much from watching that. So it doesn't matter what scale, what level. What matters is your commitment, your loyalty to your musician friends and who you're supporting. That's what counts. The value there. It's not, I'm this great drummer, everybody see me all on TV, I'm this, and I'm behind this person. It's not that. I have a job to support the front person. I have a job to support each musician that's on the stage, be it 5 or 4, 20. When you have that kind of unity, that's what furthers your career.
Right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
And it's important.
It's not happening anymore.
It's not, and I understand that. For a lot of musicians, it's their livelihood. I get it, and so it's about making money because you got to eat. I get it, but how can you take it to the next level if you're not strong and again stand out? It takes commitment. It takes practice, and it's just not. We want to play the CD, and it's just not there nowadays.
It's not.
So do you have a strategy now that you're doing your solo project? Do you have musicians in mind that you will have working with you, or?
A lot of the entertainers that you see that I perform with, those are a consistent group of musicians. Keyboards, guitars, backgrounds, horns, second. It's a consistent group of friends that we have bonded together as a family. So at the drop of a dime, I can call them. And we can do rehearsals for all the brothers and sisters. And the communication, the unity that we have, everything will be consistent.
Yeah, so I thought that was what he said in terms of Usher's group, and they a whole unit, and they tour together, and then after that tour is over, then they move on to the next. But of course, now I know that we're talking money.
Right.
If you're making money, then I guess you'll have folks that will follow you wherever you need to go. But again, when you're building something, to get people to believe in your cause enough or believe in you enough to support you fully, which means again the practicing and the commitment to practice regularly, it just isn't there now. And you can speak to this because you're with Spur of the Moment, and you guys have been together for how many years?
Almost 30 years.
Woo!
So that commitment with Spur started when we were younger. So we didn't have a lot of stuff going on, like family and jobs. Like you said, some of the people are in the band were full-time musicians.
Right.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry. We're full-time musicians. So I understand. I'm on kind of both sides of the
right.
fence. I understand that people have a dream and you want to be able to support them, but you can't, being that you do have family, you got bills and things, you just can't follow that dream, and if something happens during that moment, the rehearsing and all the building and everything, that's fine, but it's not a priority.
Right.
It just can't be anymore. But you can find some younger musicians that are hungry and want to be able to grind a little bit with you. You may be able to find some out there, but it's really hard now.
Right.
But I mean, it's I understand, what Milton was saying. Also, with Spur, because we were younger, like I said, we came up, and then we're brothers. I mean, individually, we're doing our own projects.
Right.
We're doing our own thing, but we still come back. Yeah, we're making money at the same time, but even if we weren't, I think, and I know the guys, I know my brothers, we would just do it because we just have a love for one another, for one, and just we have love for the music.
Right.
So
that's also a good segue into, let's talk about future plans. What's up with 2019? And you guys have a big event that's coming up at MGM. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, it's going to be a nice event. I like to say it's the hottest show of the year.
All right.
Okay, so we starting off January 11th at MGM National Harbor. It will be in the theater as well as the ballroom. It's going to be, they're going to take over. It's the Kappas, the Deltas, and the AKAs. They're taking over National Harbor, the casino.
Yeah,
and
that's going to be hot.
We're going to have Layla Hathaway. We're going to have Stokely, Raheem Devon, and, of course, Spur of the Moment, along with Black Alley. So
I have not seen her perform yet.
It's going to be a great show. Woo. It's going to be a great show. And I mean, tickets are going fast. They just raised the price today. So
what?
Yeah.
So where can folks get tickets?
You can go. I don't have the information in front of me. Why did you ask me that now?
You know what? Because I just thought about it.
But you know what? You go to MGM. It's called Winter Takeover.
Okay.
Okay. And you go
That's
to
nice.
MGM Winter Takeover, and you'll see everything you need to see there. I'm sorry, I don't have the information. I should have it in front of me.
We'll have it next week.
We'll have it next week. Absolutely.
We'll have all the information.
Yeah. MGM, Spur of the Moment, Layla Hathaway, Raheem Devon, and Stokely with Black Alley.
And maybe we can get some behind the scenes interviews.
Maybe we can do that. We can try. I'm
We're working on that.
I'm gonna try to work on that.
We need you to use your influence,
right?
Because you'll be right there.
I'll be there,
front and center, and behind, and everything.
I'll be doing everything, working, putting lights up, drape, everything. I'm doing everything. So.
I'm trying to get there behind the scenes. We got to make that happen.
We're gonna try. We're gonna try to do this.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, what else? Let's talk more about what are your future plans for 2019. What does 2019 look like for you?
So 2019. My thing is I want to be able to showcase some of the artists that I've been working with. I've been afforded to work with, and they allowed me to work with them because I love each and every one of them. But I want to be able to showcase them. I want to put together a showcase, and I don't have a venue yet, but we're kind of Wendy and I are talking about it, putting together something. But I want it's more exposure.
Right.
We got to keep grinding. We got to keep pushing this thing because I think my goal is 19 and moving forward beyond 19 is to put DC on the map as top musicians, top singers. You know, so often we're known as the go-go city, but we do go-go great, and I love go-go, but we have so much more to offer the world, which has been proven in the artists that I've worked with and other artists that I haven't worked with. You know, to me, it doesn't matter. I want to see independent artists get to that next level. I think they can get to. I know they can get to. I have no doubt in my mind, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to try to make it happen.
And that brings to mind too. We've talked about this on the show before in terms of support. How can you support people that you don't know? Right. And, you know, we have a lot of groups of people that support each other, but it's important to know who some of the folks are or what other people are doing other than the folks that are inside your area, your clique.
Or your circle, right?
Yes, your circle. So I'm excited about that. We're going to definitely try to plan that out and start as soon as spring of 2019.
Absolutely.
That's definitely a goal. We just got a few things to iron out, but we're going to make it happen. And we got some big names that may be supporting this as well.
Yep, absolutely. We got it. We're working on it, and I believe this year is going to be the year.
All right. I believe so, too. And as for me, we have let's see, DZ, I think I have my little logo. So I started a nonprofit. I have a nonprofit called Wendys Voice, and it is to support the next generation of artists. One of the program, and my school of choice is Largo High School. That's the school I graduated from many years ago.
Largo Lions?
Yes.
The Lions?
Largo Lions.
All right, Lions.
Yes. And so, and so, you know, working with the youth and, you know, and doing an after-school program. So I'm going to be reaching out to my artist friends and, you know, mentoring them and helping to guide them. It was interesting. I heard on the radio this morning, it was an interview with Jeffrey Osborne, and he was talking about where the direction that music is going and how we need to get back to the basics. It's not, you know, nowadays it's the structure of a song is one verse and then you've got like the hook and that's it. Like what happened to like the verse and the chorus and the bridge and that's just gone away. So I think it's important to equip this next generation of artists with the tools that they need to at least guide them in that direction. So definitely stay connected with that. The website is www.indyvoice.org. We are accepting donations. So please dig deep. You still got time for the end of the year write-off. So also here, Listen Vision, we are moving. But before that, we've got the big launch, January 18th, the Hip Hop Museum launch. And also, it is the 40th anniversary of Sugar Hill Gang, and they will be in the house. You can go to hhmdc.eventbrite.com, and we'll have flyers next week for that as well. Get your tickets because they are going fast. That's going to be a great event.
One.
It is. That's going to be.
Big one.
Jeremy has been working long and hard for this moment. Everything that he's done up to this point has led to that moment, and so he's going all out. It's going to be a big affair. Listen Vision Live will be recording there or doing the shows there, so I'm excited about that. But anyway, so
I want to say one thing though.
Yes.
This is an awesome woman because she is making that platform for us to be able to express ourselves musically. Whatever we want to do, we got a place to come to. Understand this now because this is an awesome thing. So tell everybody, share it, please share it because we all need to come together. I really mean it in my heart. Wendy has been a blessing to all of us in this city.
You're gonna make me tear up.
Understand that. So.
Thank you so much. We're ending the show again. You know, next week we'll probably come back and give you some more lessons learned from 2018. I want to end. Set your mind, set your week. Welcome, New Year. We look forward to you. A year of wonderful happiness, a year of good health, a year of great success, a year of incredibly good luck, I don't believe in luck. I'd say incredible faith and belief that you will receive all of your desires. A year of continuous fun, a year of world peace. Happy New Year 2019. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you so much for watching. Stay connected, stay tuned. We got big things in store for you. See you and welcome Kevin
Year.
Kojo Prince. Yay!
Happy New Year.
Bye. Happy New Year.
Mm-hmm.